Good morning. This is Kathy Peck coming to you from Wichita Falls, Texas. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how I made these two cards during this, my rescheduled coffee and card session. I haven't had a coffee and card session for about 6 weeks. I took off the month of December, and I'm getting back on it. And for this week and the next 2 weeks, it's going to be all about Valentines. And these particular cards are made with a new bundle called the Lots of Heart bundle. It comes with the Lots of Heart stamp set and the Mini Hearts dies. I really like this bundle. To me, it's just not all about Valentine's. It's anytime you want to send somebody a little bit of love. So it's really, really nice. Oh, I gotta turn down my speaker here. There we go. So let's get started. These two cards, even though they're different, they were made with the same tools, the same equipment. So let's see, we'll start with this one. Okay. And for the embossing, I used the Stampin' Cut emboss folder called Painted Texture 3D Embossing Folder. It looks like the textured paint I have on my walls here in my living room. And here's the stamp set, and this is a photopolymer stamp set. And let me show you the dies. The dies are my favorite. This is packed full of dies. You just won't believe it. I mean, I was surprised. Look at these dies. There's this little row of hearts that cuts out little hearts. You can make a border with that. Here's another row of little cuts out individual hearts. Some of them are stuck together. There's flowers, more hearts, but the nicest thing is this. Look at this one. This particular heart. Let me show you this. This, and then these flowers fit inside that heart. And it also fits, oops, on this. So it's very versatile. You'll see more on my blog with this particular die set and stamps. But today we're going to stick with these two simple ones. And let me show you these two hearts. These two hearts are, this cuts out a solid heart. This cuts out a heart inside and then an outline of the heart. Pretty cool. All right, so let's get started. So for this card, you'll need, I used Sahara Sand card base, and I used this designer series paper, which is called, let me look it up in the catalog because it's really pretty. It comes with it's part of a different suite called the, what is this suite? Love You Always suite, or you can get the paper by itself. This is a one-sided paper. It's a metallic paper, and it comes in 3 colors, Blushing Bride, Rococo Rose, and Sahara Sand, and it is the Love You Always foil sheets. So, okie dokie. So let's get started here. I have my bits and pieces cut and ready to go. All right. Because you're cutting a whole. Cutting this, you can make 2 out of 1. I'll show you my trick. I'm having a little trouble explaining myself today. Here we go. I did all the die cutting ahead of time, the paper cutting ahead of time, just to save time. Okay, so what I did is I have 3 pieces here. Right, and I'm explaining to you how I made the top. So I have a piece of just plain Sahara Sand. Then I have the embossed layer of Sahara Sand, with that textured paint texturing, and then I have a piece of the Love You Always metallic foil paper. So, and what I did is I cut these 4 by 5 1/4. All of these are 4 by 5 1/4. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this paper and I'm going to cut like 1.5 inches. I think I cut 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 off of it. Let's see. It's more like 1 3/4. So I'm going to cut 1 3/4 off of this. Turn this around. And then I'm going to do the same to the embossed layer, and I'll show you why. And here's 1 3/4 inches. Put those two pieces aside. 1 3/4 inches. And we'll put those aside. Here we go. All right. And then I have this crazy layer right here. So this, because this paper is thin and I want to stand this up on dimensionals, I can't just leave this laying here by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it on top of this piece of Sahara sand. And I'm using the same color because I used white initially, and it kind of shows, so you have to use a marker to hide it. But, so I'm keeping it all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the top here. And then glue this layer. And I forgot my ribbon. I always forget something when I do these things. But that's okay. Wouldn't be me if I didn't forget something. So I'm going to glue these together. Now when you emboss, sometimes it kind of makes the paper a little smaller. So I'm going to have a gap here when I put these on here. So what I'm going to do is cover it with ribbon. This, I find that this embossing folder, even though it's very textured, glue holds it very, very well. Not an issue. Okay, so we'll just stick that on here. And what you can do if you like, and I'm not going to do it to this one, but I did it to the first one, is you can take your blending brush and your Sahara sand ink and lightly dry brush this to give it a little texture. But it also can make it look a little dirty, so I'm going to keep it as is today for this one. I think next time I might try it with a little bit with a different color. See how it looks. All right. Yeah, that'll work. And I just want to make sure these go to the edge, to the top and bottom edge. Okay, here we go. There. That's pretty much done. So now with these two pieces, you can go the reverse and make another card, which is what I plan to do later. All right, I'm going to go grab my ribbon that I forgot. All right, and my ribbon was with another packet that I'm going to do a video on later. And I'll show you this card. This is the one where the big heart with the flowers inside. See how nicely that goes together? Pretty cool. All right. Excuse me. Okay, this ribbon is also part of the Love You Always suite. And it's on, let's see what it's called. It's on page 11 of the catalog, and it is called, let's see, it's item number 5, Blushing Bride Metallic Ribbon. It's really, really pretty. It's metallic on one side with the Blushing Bride seams, and then the back side is solid pink with a nice sheen. So to secure this, I use dimensionals. I learned this little trick from Leanne Greff. I thought it's a really nice way to keep ribbon on. I find my glue dots here. Oops. Every glue dot is different on how they decide to come off. So you need a couple to stick on there. Oops. They're sticking to me instead of sticking to the ribbon. It's always something. Okay, so what I do is then I take it and I'm going to wrap it around one end, pinch it tight, push it down. Because I'm not tying any bows or adding any knots to this. I just want to add a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of shimmer. So let me get these glue dots up. On here. There we go. Oops. And you gotta just trim it off. Trims off real easy. This is a really nice ribbon. Look at that there. That's done. That layer is done. So now all I have to do is do my base. This is my card base. It's an 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, piece of Sahara sand. I'm going to put a white layer on the inside. And I'm going to add a few little blushing bride hearts to the inside as well. I always like to put a layer inside my cards. I just think it just finishes them off nicely. And then we're going to add, I'm going to use, I think, a glue dot for these, because these little hearts, and stick them in the corners. Like that. All these little hearts are with the die set. And these are cut in Blushing Bride. All right, to finish the front, we're going to layer it up here with some dimensionals, and I'm down to the last bit of dimensionals in this pack. I'll be sure to bring some more to my table before I do my next live. Oops. So, put the trash over there. All right. Then we're going to put the hearts together, stamp the sentiment, and stick them on top. I love how these hearts layer together. Stampin' Up! This has 3 really nice sets for Valentine's. This particular set with dies, the one from 2019 and the one from 2020. And I'll be featuring those next week. Okay, so this one has the Blushing Bride heart with the Sahara sand outline. And then there's this little guy here. He's going to go on top. This is just the small heart, or the medium-sized heart cut, and then you emboss it. You'll emboss it afterwards with the die that makes these little holes in there. And that's our strip for our sentiment. So I'm going to get some more dimensionals and pop that up there. Make sure I'm on the right side. And then I just stamp the sentiment and lay it across the top with some glue or glue dots, whatever you choose. Or even the Stampin' Seal. All right. There we go. And then I'm going to take some of these. So I'm going to stick the heart. I want to pop the heart up on dimensions. This is a very layered card and popped up card. It has 3 popped up layers. Something's a little off here. I think my heart's a little, let's see if I can move. Well, I'll move it later. It's just a little crooked, but that's okay. Now, for the sentiment, I'm going to use soft suede because I found soft suede really complements this whole set. And I'm going to use for this one just a little note. There's several sentiments in here. My heart smiles, just thinking about you, sent with lots of heart. You're all heart, just a little note, and thank you. So I'm going to use just a little note for this one. Again, this is photopolymer, so it's easy to see when you're stamping if you've got it straight. Since this is the first time using this one, I like to stamp a couple of times just to make sure the ink is good. All right. Came out real nice, and then I'm just trimming these edges. This seems to be my go-to finish for my sentiments lately, is just to give it a little catty corner trim. Pop it on there. I think I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. Just a little in the middle. And here we go. All done. And like I said, if you can make two when you cut these sheets 4 by 5 1/4. That's the first one. Now we'll do a red and black heart one. Clean up this little mess a little bit. So, but I love to make Valentine cards. I don't send very many, but I like to make them. I guess it's the thought that counts. This one, again, the white layer is embossed with the 3D embossing folder in that textured paint. And let me get all that out. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. And I use the red jewels, or where are they? Red rhinestone basic jewels. And just some black paper. Okay. Let me get my layers here. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4 and then embossed. Okay, and then I have my black layer that's cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I took the heart out of it because it's going to be covered up, so you don't need to. You don't need the whole sheet. That's the way you can save a little bit on paper. If you're going to cover it up, so you might as well die cut it if you have something that's not going to go all the way to the edge. So then I can layer this on here. Here we go. And again, I cut my red layer, my card base, at 11 by 4 1/4. And that's going to go right there. This Tombow is like my favorite all-time glue. I love it. It's easy to work with. And when it dries, it can be used as repositional glue, which is kind of fun at times. Okay. Oh, I guess I have some glue on my table. Oh, from that heart. Okay, so I have to avoid that spot. Okay. So, for this particular one, I pre-stamped the heart and die cut it. And I also have the red layer that's going to go around. You see right here, I put a red outline. So let me show you how I did that. It's not that difficult. It just takes a little patience. And I just lightly made a little puddle of glue and just picked it up with the end and tapped it around every so often, just to give it enough to make it stick in points, you know, in places. So you could always use those sheets, those adhesive sheets, if you wanted to. But I just like doing it with the glue myself, because if I make a mistake, it's easy to make an adjustment. Like right here. I'm not quite to the end. And here. There. That's it. That one's done. And what I did is, I think this time I'm going to put the red heart first and then the black. And these went on really easily with glue. Get those out of the way. Make sure that's straight. And then I'll put the black one on top of the red one. And then this one is put up on dimensionals. Break out the mini dimensionals today. So just pop these covers off and then stick that on there. There. And then I pre-stamped the sentiment. Here it is. And I put sent with lots of heart. And again, I'm going to just cut it, put on a little bit of adhesive. Let's see, this one I actually layered with dimensional, so I'll do that again because I like that look on there. I'm going to use this little strip right here. Don't forget you can use all the bits of your dimensional sheet. All right, sent with lots of heart. Try to get that. I don't remember if it gets stuck, just wiggle it a little. Here we go. Now I'm going to add my little red rhinestones. I like to do at least 3, sometimes more, but I think 3 is good. There we go. Maybe I'll do 5 this time. 1 there and another one over here. There we go. So all I need to do for this is to add my liner in. See, this is one of my mistake stamps, and the other side is still good. So I'm just going to dab some glue over there and put my liner in. All right. There you have it. 2 sweet little cards that are perfect for Valentine's or just sending someone some love whenever you need to. Again, that was the Lots of Heart bundle, which is the Lots of Heart stamp set and the Lots of the Mini Hearts dies. So, there you go. On my YouTube video, there will be a link to my store with all the product information, numbers, and all that. So if you like this set and you'd like to order it, you can. Also, I have a blog post that'll give you some more, all the measurements to all the cards. Thanks and have a great day.